process of its amendment provides us with yet another golden opportunity to strengthen our institutions, deepen federalism, guarantee fundamental rights, and promote justice, equity, and accountability across all spheres of national life. This engagement is particularly important as it resembles development.
I am delighted at the presence of so many women today. The reserved seats for women proposal will create additional seats in the National Assembly and state assemblies. Has women's voice in lawmaking. This is not tokenism, but
distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria's greatness has always been forged in the crucible of dialogue. It is our unique ability to talk, to argue, to disagree, and ultimately to find a common ground that defines us. Today, let us honor that noble tradition. Let us rise above the narrow confines of ethnicity as Nigerians. Let us together craft a constitution that will be a legacy of unity, a constitution that will be a legacy of justice, a constitution that will be a legacy of progress for generations yet unborn, a constitution that truly reflects the indomitable spirit of our people and the boundless promise of our beloved nation.
We see ourselves as a bridge linking the gap between the governing and the governed, which is actually causing a lot of problems now in security and other issues in this nation. Governed, no link. Policies are being prepared, programs are being prepared, but implementation of these programs and policies cannot go down because no link. So we are now urging the authorities, especially this committee, to ensure that this gap is being bridged so that we'll have...
The Assembly has postponed the resumption of plenary session by 2 weeks. Originally scheduled to resume on September the 23rd, a plenary will now be the 7th, and this was disclosed in a memo sent to all members of the National Assembly and signed by the clerk Kamoru Ogunlana. In the memo, Ogunlana requested all the distinguished senators and honorable members to take note of the new date and adjust their schedules accordingly. The memo read, Ogunlana said that he was directed by the presiding officers of both the Chamber of National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to inform all members of the National Assembly and the general public that the resumption date of the National Assembly earlier scheduled for Tuesday 23rd of September 2020 postponed to Tuesday the 7th of October 2025. However, the committee activities continued. The memo said honorable members are requested to take note of the new date and adjust their schedules accordingly, adding that any inconvenience caused by this rescheduling is deeply regretted. And in the meantime, the National Assembly has unsealed the office of the Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, located in Suite 2.05 of the Senate wing. The office was unsealed on Tuesday by the Deputy Director of the Sergeant-at-Arms, Alabi Adedeji, effectively restoring her access to the National Assembly complex, paving the way for her anticipated resumption of legislative duties. Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan was suspended by the Senate for 6 months over alleged violation of its standing rules. The suspension, recommended by the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions, and also stripped her of 8 of his privileges and salaries, but her suspension attracted a lot of reactions, with many, especially the civil society organizations and opposition politicians, condemning the action by the Senate. She approached the court in July over the matter and made an unsuccessful attempt to resume sitting. In court, the Kogi senator served out her 6-month suspension this September and declared her intention to return to her duty. And about 2 weeks ago, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan wrote to the Senate informing it of her intention to resume. But however, the lawmakers, while acknowledging her letter, said that they would not take action on it until the end of the court process.
To unseal the office is hereby unsealed. Thank you.
In a related development, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has officially resumed her duties at the National Assembly after a 6-month suspension. The Kogi Central lawmaker walked back into the Senate on Tuesday amid cheers from supporters waving banners and chanting songs of solidarity. And this came shortly after Senate authorities responded her previously sealed office. Akpoti-Uduaghan was suspended in March for clash with Senate President Godswill Akpabio, who accused of unparliamentary conduct. Speaking to reporters after reclaiming a seat, the senator declared she has no apology to render, and she described her return as a triumph for democratic principles and stood firm on her conduct during the incident that led to her suspension. Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan comeback marks a significant moment of reconciliation, a statement on upholding democracy within the state.
Sometimes it's good to put the institutions to test. We can't cow down in the face of injustice. No one is more Nigerian than us. Senator Akpabio is not more of a senator than I am. He's not a governor of this place. And he treated me as if I was his servant or I was a domestic staff in his house. It's very unfortunate that at this time, after so many years of democracy, we would have a National Assembly be run by such dictatorship. It's totally unacceptable. As for me, I'm glad to be here. We have been illegally suspended. No day have I hesitated in effectively carrying out my duties as a senator of Kogi Central to the very best of my capacity.
Following the expiration of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's 6-month suspension by the Senate, the security operatives on Tuesday dispersed her supporters and constituents who had gathered at the National Assembly gate to welcome her. The Kogi Central lawmakers arrived at the complex with a large crowd of supporters but was reportedly prevented from, and several people were said to have sustained injuries for treatment. An eyewitness described the scene as tense, pointing to the heavy security personnel and the use of crowd control measures during what was intended to be a peaceful procession. And women and youths who had traveled from Kogi State were among those affected, and emergency responders later evacuated some of the injured. And while staff and lawmakers expressed concerns about the incident, and in her reacting to the incident, and political commentators have since reacted and calling on Senate leadership to look into the incident and ensure that such confrontations are avoided in the future. The House of Representatives has mandated the Accountant General of the Federation, Shamsuddin Ogunjimi, to provide the spreadsheet of the 2.4 trillion approval for payments made to contractors for project implementations. The request was made after a meeting with the House Ad Hoc Committee on Budget Implementation and the Association of Indigenous Contractors of Nigeria in Abuja. Director of Funds in the Office of the Accountant General confirmed that 2.4 trillion has been approved for payment, and disclosing that extra 760 billion was approved by the Finance Minister, Wale Edun, for warranting cash back for the remaining months and bringing the total to about 3.1 trillion naira. Correspondent Linda Ike reports that Deputy Speaker of the House, Sani Kanu, and the chaired committee commended the government for the approval of funds charging contractors and project authenticity for the betterment of Nigeria. Kala said that a follow-up meeting has been scheduled for October the 5th, 2025 for further appraisal of the agreement between the government and contractors.
One of the things assignment we gave to the accountant, I'll pay this 2.4 trillion. We need to see how the government has paid 2.4 trillion and still people are standing on the streets saying that the government is paying. It's not giving government good image. How can we pay 2.4 trillion into the system and the same contractors on the street? So we want to verify, investigate to know whether these are, the people who are paid are real contractors, or the people claiming are the people who have really worked. One of the things they took home also was my charge to them, asking them to please. On the part of government, we are putting the pressure on government to pay up. But on their part, they should ensure that what government is paying for is a job well done. The government is not paying for a piece of paper of certificate of completion when the jobs are not done. We told them it will be wickedness to claim that the hospital had been built and lives are being lost there because there's no hospital to attend to people.
Governor Barra of Rivers State has declared that he, with his predecessor, Nyesom Wike, after a closed-door meeting with President Bola Tinubu at a presidential villa in Abuja. Governor Fubara met with President Tinubu on Monday evening, and his first visit was lifted and the state of emergency in Rivers State ended. Speaking to journalists after the meeting, Fubara described the encounter as a father and son discussion where he updated the president on his resumption of duty and sought guidance to prevent future political crisis in Rivers. This meeting comes days after Tinubu lifted the state of emergency and reinstated democratic structure in the state.
The governor of Rivers State to guide me properly so we don't be in any situation that will bring crisis again. That's what he said to me.
Yes. Nigerians want to know.
He advised me on what to do and how to go in the right step.
The question.
I don't know what you mean by...
The people you...
I don't know what you mean by... Is it a paper piece?
Or a real piece?
So long as I'm concerned. We have made peace. My Fubara and his principal are working together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has promised that his administration will continue to drive economic growth through copious investment in women across the state. The governor, represented by his deputy, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, stated this at the 2025 WAPA Connect conference. Governor Sanwo-Olu said the theme of the conference, Investing in Lagos Women, Investing in Growth, reflected the administration's vision for Greater Lagos that champions the growth of every woman. He added that his administration has rolled out a Women Empowerment and Inherent for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. WAPA Bolaji Cecilia Dada said that the WAPA Connect conference was designed to bring the women from different professions to connect and build businesses together. She described the conference as a unique platform where women can come together to network and share ideas, stressing that investing in Lagos women would contribute to the economic growth of Lagos. The First Lady of Lagos State, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, who was represented by Fumi Omotosho, commended the Commissioner for sustaining the conference over the years and for placing women at the center of its agenda.
Our goals are very ambitious and they are very clear. Aim is to advance that policy, the We policy roadmap, not just its design, but in its execution. This means creating programs that break down barriers, allowing women and young ladies to fully engage in Lagos economy. We want to strengthen our alliances, NGOs, women-led organizations, and stakeholders who fully understand grassroots realities and can deliver impactful empowerment programs. We are also committed to improving data collection on women economic participation, because having accurate, detailed data help us to make targeted interventions that actually solve real life problems.
It is a call to action. Together, we declare that investing in Lagos women is investing in Lagos growth. When we support one another, when we lift as we rise. Did you hear what I said? When we lift as we rise, not when as we rise. When we lift as we rise, and when we build together, we are laying the foundation for a Lagos where every woman can thrive and every dream can find expression.
My message to every woman today is clear. The future is ours to shape. Let us age resilience, hope, and innovation that define us as women.
And we now take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll give you some more reports.
47 on DSTV 198. Go TV 49. Go sponsor Guinness.
Welcome back. The Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, has confirmed the occurrence of a most lamentable accident earlier today along Ijora Causeway, inward Ijora 7-Up, involving an apple-fully laden 40-foot container truck XP 368 AKD, which overturned upon a commercial tricycle KJA 364 QN, conveying unsuspecting passengers. Preliminary findings indicate that the articulated vehicles, while attempting a precarious maneuver beneath the Ijora Bridge, lost control and consequently capsized and fatally crushing onto a tricycle in its path. Regrettably, 2 passengers, among them a 7 police officer, were killed instantly. The remains of the deceased police officer was subsequently to a morgue at Yaba by security operatives, while grief-stricken relatives of the second victim, a female passenger, hastened to the scene to retrieve the remains of their loved ones, and in a violent rescue operation spearheaded by LASMA operatives in concert with allied emergency respondents, 2 additional victims, including the tricycle operators, were extricated alive, and though they sustained a severe bilateral leg fractures, the injured were expeditiously transported by the Lagos State Ambulance Service to Jimson Hospital, Gatsukia, Ijora, for urgent medical intervention. And to avert a descent into chaos, combined detachments of security personnel drawn from Badia, Trinity, and Kirikiri police divisions established a robust security cordons. The General Manager of LASMA, Mr. Olalekan Bakarioki, has expressed the profound condolences to the bereaved families of the late police officers and the deceased female passenger, describing the tragedy as deeply grievous and most regrettably. In a statement, the Director of Public Affairs and Enlightenment Department of LASMA, Adebayo Taufik. And the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, has issued a stern warning to transport unions and their affiliates over the unauthorized deployment of union stickers as vehicular registration identifiers across the state. In a statement released by the Director of Public Affairs and Enlightenment, Adebayo Taufik, the LASMA General Manager, Olalekan Bakarioki, condemned the practice as a flagrant violation of regulatory frameworks, while describing it as a serious security breach and a subversion of lawful vehicle identification systems within the metropolis. Bakarioki stressed that in line with Lagos State's prevailing security architecture, that every vehicle operating on public roads must be duly registered and documented through constitutionally empowered government agencies responsible for vehicular regulations and enforcement. He warned that proliferation of such unauthorized identifiers endangers public safety hampers effective law enforcement and undermines statutory registry protocols. Reaffirming the state government's zero tolerance for illegal practices, the LASMA boss disclosed that the agency, in collaboration with security formations and other enforcement bodies, would intensify surveillance across strategic corridors to ensure a total compliance with extant laws. He urged the transport union members to comply strictly with lawful registration procedures, and noting that adherence was not administrative orderliness, but a critical safeguard for a collective security and well-being of Lagosians. The Lagos State government has signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU with Ultimate and iCell Software Solutions, providing companies as part of efforts to revolutionize the state parking management and ease traffic gridlock. A statement by the head public affairs, LASPA, Dunko Divine, said the partnership agreement was formalized recently by the General Manager, Lagos State Parking Authority, LASPA, Adebisi Adelabu, with the representatives of Automata, Pereira, Sheung, and the representatives of iCell Hassan, Fayad and Fayad, according to the General Manager. The MOU agreement will help bring about the introduction of advanced technology and modern infrastructure into the Lagos State parking landscape. She further noted that the introduction of both the parking management software solutions as well as the soft and hardware applications for enforcement solutions by Automata and iCell respectively are part of the state government comprehensive plan to improve the state parking culture, reduce indiscriminate parking, and enhance a free flow of vehicular movement with the use of technology. Adelabu emphasized that newly introduced parking management and enforcement solutions in the state will not only transform the current parking management process in Lagos, but also drive improvement in on-street parking. The Lagos State chapter of the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria has strongly demanded the immediate redeployment of Comrade Aladeton Abiodun following what it's described as an illegal election, thirdly installed him as chairman of the association. And this demand was made during a special emergency delegate conference held on Tuesday with over 250 members in attendance. The group denounced the election as a violation of the electoral guidelines set by the Trade Union Congress, TUC, describing it as a flagrant breach of due process. In a communique issued, Delegate Representative Rotimi Munturu and Conference Coordinator Olusegun Kadiri, the union expressed that the election had brought shame and embarrassment to the ASCSN Lagos chapter. The communique also emphasized the need for strict adherence to constitutional provisions and electoral guidelines in all future elections. The group called on the National Secretariat to take a swift and decisive action to implement the resolutions adopted at the conference. The Lagos State chapter of the Amalgamated Union of App-Based Transporters of Nigeria has appealed to the Federal Ministry of Labour and employed drivers in Lagos, and during a press briefing, the acting chairman Aziz Jaisimi highlighted the challenges faced by the drivers operating under the driver trip ownership scheme. He acknowledged the significant contribution of the technology-driven platform to Nigerians' economy, but warned that such innovation must not become a tool for exploitation. And according to the union, drivers have reported cases where repayment records are allegedly manipulated, resulting in prolonged repayment periods and trapping them in a cycle of continuous debt. Jaisimi also revealed that Uber and Move recently increased the daily remittance required from drivers under the DTO scheme from 9,400 naira to 18,700 naira, a 100% hike implemented without prior consultation. The union further accused the Uber and Move of deducting health insurance fees from drivers without actually enrolling them in any health maintenance organizations, and describing the situation as both a breach of trust and failure in corporate responsibility. Jai Simi emphasized that while drivers are not opposed to innovation of business growth, that these advancements must be pursued with fairness, transparency, and respect for workers' rights. He insisted that corporate profitability must never come at the cost of human dignity and public safety. And experts have emphasized the urgent need for innovative engineering approaches to tackle the multifaceted challenges confronting Nigeria's manufacturing sector. And this call was made during the opening ceremony of the 2025 International Conference, the exhibition and annual general meeting of the Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, held at the International Conference Center, University of Ibadan. Mitv correspondent Kevin Aoke reports. Over 300 residents of Osun State have been treated for malaria and other prevailing illness as part of a free medical outreach organized by Medical Students Association. The annual medical outreach organized by the OAU Medical Students Association in Osun was held in Ede Town, where medical experts conducted tests and diagnoses for malaria, fever, typhoid, as well as eye care. And beyond the drugs and injections, the beneficiaries were also sensitized on hygiene, regular exercise, and avoid. Some of the beneficiaries with secondary medical conditions were also referred to the General Hospital Ede. The beneficiaries described the gesture as timely and worthwhile while urging for continued similar interventions. Our correspondent Jamiu Omoni reported that the organizers have promised to continue post-treatment consultations for the beneficiaries.
There are people who, due to financial constraints, will not present to the hospital despite having health challenges. But we coming down here, we are able to help people as much as we can, and even follow them up. Just do our own part as an association, as a club, and follow them up. We give drugs, relieve them temporarily, and also talk to them, refer them to the hospital if need be.
Towards universal health coverage and health equity, and that's to say that health should be accessible to all, healthcare services should be accessible to all, but not all everyone is able to access it, majorly because of the cost, and that's why we are bringing these services free of charge. We do this every year for people to be able to access it by their own means.
It's a free surgery program, and you can attest to the numbers of the people who attended that. We have a lot of ailments in our community, and many people couldn't have accessed it because it was not affordable. Now, with the presence of these medical students who have brought this thing free, we can't thank them enough. It's marvelous, and many people are still outside waiting for this treatment. We commend.
Progress no dey happen just like that. It dey come from support when you need am.
Mommy, I got the school fees. You too much.
Na money point o.
Money point, thank you.
Customer, na transfer abi? Confirm.
Bro, na transfer.
Na money point oga. Oh, na confirm.
Progress na peace of mind when you know say payment go land as Sure Banker. Progress na small wind where dey carry person go far.
No worry, yourself go make am. No go buy ball.
Victor, even you dey use money point?
Of course na, they use money point.
Confirm.
Money point, made for your progress.
In celebration of the 2025 World Clean by Textile and Fashion Waste as a great contributor to degradation of the environment, on which this assertion came in Lagos at the 2025 World Cleanup Day by the State Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, where the state government also said that there is a lack of public awareness on the dangers of textile waste in the environment. Special Advisor Miyako lack of public awareness, inadequate recycling facilities, and climate change threats. He recommended increased public education, better recycling systems, and encouraged people to donate or reuse clothing to minimize waste. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, Dr. Tajuddin Omobolaji Gaji, stated that the event is part of the efforts to ensure Martin Landa Impact Foundation. Sidikat Folami delivered a keynote speech outlining the current state of textile waste in Nigeria. She revealed that the recycled fiber market recorded about 8,415 tons in 2022 and valued at 2.8 million with projections of 4.5 million by 2030.
Circular fashion practice solution by reducing sustainability and encouraging eco-friendly fashion products. Therefore, let us work together to tackle textile and fashion waste. Let us adopt circular fashion practices. Let us raise awareness and educate consumers, designers, and policymakers about the important change that will encourage brands to adopt circular businesses model and invest in sustainable textile material.
From waste, it's what people we think that this is waste, and what is being presented to us now is that it's a multi-million-dollar industry. It's a multi-million naira industry that people can take and become rich from doing these things, from taking those waste and reprocessing it and redirecting it to better use. And that gives you more energy, more outlook, more better way. And it saves the environment, it saves the earth from being polluted. And when the earth is saved, then we can preserve it for the next generation of people coming after us.
We are doing a lot to ensure that textile is not contributing to the environment. So them recognizing us as part of those completing their circle to ensure that they are not contributing to the waste. The private sector also need to come up and collaborate with us. Martin Landa also do a lot. We go into the communities, we go to sensitize, we need action in that aspect, to get sponsorship in doing much more of this work and also in developing more products, the R&D, to reduce the textile waste.
Both the generator and also creating awareness. Awareness is very key. If people are not aware of something, that's why they won't be conscious of it. As we are advocating today to ensure that this kind of waste they are generating has value, and for us is to ensure that people embrace culture of innovation, that things that people are throwing away as values.
Is to make Lagos State clean. And we learned a lot of lessons there, how to be able to be using the remaining pieces of fabric. We're using fabric to cover chairs. The remaining of the fabric, they teach us how to use it for another thing.
Going about the program, we know that in fact it's a really good program, which we know that by stepping in, we are going to achieve a lot, because it might have saved a lot of waste, and as well, it's a plus to us.
And that's it on the local news. We now take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll take some stories from the foreign scenes.
Progress no dey happen just like that. It dey come from support when you need am.
Mommy, I got the school fees. You too much.
Na money point o.
Money point, thank you.
Customer, na transfer abi? Confirm.
Bro, na transfer o.
Na money point oga. Oh, na confirm.
Progress na peace of mind when you know say payment go land as sure banker. Progress na small wind where they carry person go far.
No worry, yourself go make am. Go Bible.
Victor, even you they use money point?
Of course now, they use money point.
Confirm.
Money point, miss.
Welcome back on the foreign scene. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have announced that they will immediately withdraw from the International Criminal Court, ICC, labeling it an instrument of neo-colonialist-led countries issued a joint statement and saying that they would not recognize the authority of the UN-backed court based in The Hague. The three leaders said that the ICC has proven itself incapable of handling and prosecuting proven war crimes, crimes against humanity, crimes of genocide, and crimes of aggression. The court has not yet responded to the decision by the three countries, and all of which with close ties to Russia, whose leaders, three states, said that they wanted to set up an indigenous mechanism for the consolidation of peace and justice, and accused the ICC of targeting less privileged countries and echoing criticism from Rwanda's president, Paul Kagame, who has previously accused the ICC of holding an anti-African bias. Russian area attacks on Ukrainian officials said on Tuesday, while the Russian Defense Ministry reported that several Ukrainian drones had targeted the capital, Moscow. The attacks came as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky prepared to meet Donald Trump in New York. The U.S. president is expressing mounting frustration at Russia for not halting its invasion. And Russia launched 3 missiles and 115 drones at Ukraine overnight, and Kyiv's Air Force said the last in what are daily barrages, and most drones were intercepted by air defense, but officials said that one civilian was killed in southern Zaporizhia region and another in the coastal Odessa region. Deadly Israel air attacks have intensified in Gaza City, and ground forces have advanced in the south of the city, killing at least 6, according to our team on the ground. Gaza's health ministry has warned that patients are facing certain deaths as hospitals in the besieged territory may have to shutter vital departments within a few days due to fuel shortages. Palestinian officials said that Israel forces destroyed at least 30 residential buildings in Gaza City and forced thousands of people from their homes. And Israel has said that it plans to seize the city, where about 1 million Palestinians have been, and has intensified attacks on what it has called the last bastion of the militant Palestinian group. Lebanon is pushing to get more support from the United States after another deadly people, including 3 children. The latest in series of nearly daily violation by Israel of the U.S. brokered November 2024 a ceasefire. The Lebanese presidency said in a statement on Tuesday that President Joseph Aoun and the other officials met with a delegation led by the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. And AON asked Rubio to ensure Israel sticks to the truth. Hezbollah emphasized that the Lebanese army's mandate includes comprehensive and lasting peace in the Middle East region. We'll now take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll take some stories in sport. Benfica might expect a expires next year, and the club are ready to let him go if the Portuguese side pay a small transfer fee. They reportedly say Mourinho wants to bring Karim Benzema to the Portuguese club, and most likely when the January transfer window rolls around next year. Benzema's best season under Mourinho came in 2011-2012, where the La Liga title Super Cup winning squad. La Liga president Javier Tebas has accused the Premier League of inflating the players' salaries and transfer fees and the UK government's intervention, referring to the establishment of an independent regulator because the government is worried about what is happening to English football. Tebas wants to curb the Premier League's spending and to get it incorporated. He has approached UEFA multiple times, pointing out the rules need to be made much more uniform because they are different, as what's allowed in the Premier League isn't allowed in Spain, and UEFA should take an interventionist stance. Botswana meets its relay at the World Athletes Championship in Tokyo to become the first African winner, and Colin Kebi's superb last leg to snatch victory. In driving rain and Sundays, Botswana edged out the United States and South Africa in a thrilling race. Botswana President Duma Gideon Boko announced that the public holiday is on September the 29th, the day before the country's Independence Day, to honor Kabinetship and his teammates. And after the Tebogo won Botswana's first Olympic, a gold medal in 200 meters in Paris last year, his country celebrated the victory with may need to be re-engineered amid the challenges posed. Household names lead up Japan's national stadium, and which 4 years ago hosted the Olympics behind closed doors, conditions where the athletes had to contend with, particularly in the endurance events, as the temperature exceeding 30 degrees were accompanied by stiffening humidity above 90%.
Welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go! Lights, camera, action.
You called my husband Mr. Ajayi.
Yes.
No more tears and feelings.
Life is a teacher. The more you live, the more you learn. Seed of shade. When a housewife begins to fail in her matrimonial responsibility, make her romantic and entertaining. Seed of Shade, directed by Segun Akonde. Seed of Shade, now on your TV screen.
There's a job for someone to do. Everyone expected blames someone for not doing the job. Meanwhile, for everyone to participate in the political journey of our nation, Nigeria, to avoid the blame game. Let's Talk Politics is a talk show for political news, interviews, in-depth features and satire. where you see things differently, know better, and also contribute to the discourse of today. Details of what they plan to do differently and how. Let's talk politics for a new Nigeria to evolve.
You slapping the wife like slapping himself.
Somebody sees a thing, comes into a place, looks around and says, no. I mean, we should reorganize things. When they get into power, when those same youth get into power, they will not want to listen to anybody with a dissenting voice.
Exactly.
And that will be a conspiracy against progress.
Run away from bad companies. Bad companies ruins good morals. There are distractions that will not allow you to achieve the purpose that you intend to achieve.
Okay. No matter how much amount of money you have in the bank, I can tell you something, it can destroy the home if there's no time for each other.